Hey everyone, Pete here from Sea Tranquility. I had some free time. I'm off today. I figured why not do the first live stream that we've done in a long time. I mean, true live, not record and do a live premiere. True live, where I'm here with you guys in the chat, just kind of talking music, right? It's Friday morning. It's a little bit before 10 a.m. What do you think? Who's going to hop on? Now, of course, I just remember we have another show premiere, and so you're going to have to choose between going to watch the show that's premiering at 10 o'clock or sitting here and chatting live with me. You got your choice, right? The other video will be there. I'm only going to be here for about a half hour. So what's up, Butters? What's up, MJ Nation? How are you folks here on this well, I don't know about glorious Friday morning. It's kind of cloudy here in New York. We're expecting some rain. It's getting warm. Andrew Dunn, what's happening? How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? So you got a choice. You can either stay here with me for a half hour or watch Classic Album Rewind. I totally forget. This was spur of the moment, guys. Yeah, I know. I didn't expect to do this either. You know what it is? I'm sitting here. I got a little time to kill. I'm going to a comic convention this afternoon. I'm not working today. Took the day off. And I'm like, so you guys have the Classic Album Rewind show that's airing in 2 minutes, or you can spend a half hour with me and watch that later. That's the choice you got. What's up, Jeff? So music, what's going on with you guys? So I just ordered brand new Billy Gibbons CD, brand new Nancy Wilson CD from Heart, and the brand new Flotsam and Jetsam. So hopefully I'll have those in a couple days, and we'll get to that. I've been listening to this bad boy, so I don't know what it is. You got Rush have been putting out these like kind of reissues with some of their classic albums with these cool like live albums attached. So I got the Hemispheres recently, been digging on that. I got Farewell to Kings, and I picked up, God, what was the other one I picked up? I can't even remember now. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I've been listening to a bit of Rush lately. Pretty cool. If you guys haven't heard it, if you like kind of wacky stuff, kind of like avant-garde metal, called Oriental Metal, the new Subterranean Masquerade. So pretty cool. All right, so who we got in the chat here? What do we got going on here? MJ Nation, got to go to work. I totally understand. Yeah, Epica. Definitely check out Epica. Nick from Australia, what's happening? New 2112 CD, the version that comes with a CD, Blu-ray, and a comic book. I haven't gotten that. Bengal Gangster, what's going on? What do you think of the 4 Nancy Wilson covers on the album? I don't know. I haven't heard it yet. I just ordered it. Maybe you missed that. I just ordered the CD not 5 minutes ago, so I'll have it sometime next week. I'll give you guys my opinions on that once I've gotten it and I've digested it a bit. What else we got? Have I ever done Anathema or Catatonia reviews? Well, I've been plotting. I mean, here's the thing. I have a good chunk of Catatonia albums. I'm not an enormous fan. I don't dislike them. For whatever reason, Catatonia doesn't do a hell of a lot for me. I like some of their albums. I could potentially do an album ranking at some point in time, and maybe grab someone who's like a bigger fan than me. Anathema, I have a good chunk of the more recent stuff. I don't have a few of the early albums when they were more of like kind of like a doomy band. I think Anathema is terrific. So that I potentially could do both at some point. What else we got here? From Tom Vanderlyn, what's going on? Thanks for recommending the music of Sonus Umbra. Yeah, they're great. And Lewis is such a cool guy. The great band. MJ Nation, been enjoying some Obituary lately. And Rush, cool. Classic death metal there. Yeah, I know that Subterranean Masquerade is quite good, right? Very interesting stuff. Looking forward to live music again. Yeah, tell me about it, right? I don't know how ready I am to just go and hop in to like a club or something like that, Well, I don't know, because I'm going to a comic convention today, and we all have to wear masks, and we're going to be doing that. That'll be my first time in like a event where there's potentially going to be a lot of people, but we'll see. Would I like to see some live music? Sure. For right now, I think I prefer to go to an outdoor venue for live music, but we'll see. We'll see how the summer goes. What else? Weather was beautiful in the Northeast. Yes. Memorial Day weekend. I mean, it was chilly, like 55, 60, rainy, just nasty weather. Do I like Fear Factory? I used to dig Fear Factory. I will say I don't particularly care much for them anymore. I don't know what it is. I dug Fear Factory for a number of years, and then I just kind of got tired of their sound for whatever reason. Probably just need to go back and re-listen. But they have some killer albums, obviously. But yeah, I know they have a new one coming. I haven't heard anything about it. Let's see, what do we got here? Would I rather have attended Woodstock or Live Aid? Well, the problem is Woodstock, Live Aid was in two separate places, right? So that would be kind of hard to attend. Would it have been cool? It would have been cool to see like Queen at Wembley and to see like Sabbath. There were a few acts that I would have loved to have seen at Live Aid, but I still think I would have preferred to have been at Woodstock. Close to my home. Legendary performances. I don't know. I think I would have rather been to Woodstock. That seemed like more like my thing. What we got here from Ralph P. Lors. Hi, Pete. Listen today to the new Billy Gibbons Hardware, amazing blues rock. Yeah, I just ordered it. I ordered that, the new Nancy Wilson, and the new Flotsam and Jetsam. So they're coming in. What about Leprous from Mark Levitt? I like the early Leprous stuff. I think their last couple albums have bored the shit out of me. Those first few albums, though, great. They're a really good band, really talented band. I just find their last like two albums like pretty boring, actually. That's just my opinion, though. Let's see. Did you review No Go Gojira CD? I did not. Can't get everything. I like Gojira, though. I'll get around to it hopefully one of these days. I just got to go get it, right? Just can't buy everything. And, the label did not send me the album. From Butters, maybe a random question, but how many listens typically does it take you to fully digest an album? It depends on how I'm listening to it. If I can like sit down and listen to it and really just listen to it without doing something else, I can have a pretty firm idea of yay or nay and how the direction I want to go on a review in 2 listens. If I'm like listening to it kind of with one ear and doing something else, we're talking 4 or 5, generally speaking. From Jamie Flowers. What's up, Jamie? Did you ever get to see GTR? I have not. Never got to see them, unfortunately. What else? Who else we got here? Drum Dude, enjoying the vids. Love the Monsters Den show last night. Yeah, it was a fun one, right? Monsters Attack shows are great. I love Rich and Chris. Cool bunch of guys. Who else we got here? Boy, a lot of people popping on. From Mark, Pete, curious if you've read the Washington Post story on Ed Wolfgang yet. I have not. I'll have to check that out. Metal Madness. What's going on? Have you checked out the band Exist? I have not heard of them. If not, you should. Perfect mix of ladder death and cynic, very proggy and melodic. Cool. I have to check that out. I've not heard them. My dad knew a bunch of guys that went to Woodstock and said it was okay, as if it seems like it was a much bigger event after the fact than when it was happening. Well, 2 of my neighbors that I'm really close friends with, this couple that we know, were also there, and they said it was amazing. So I've actually met a bunch of people in my life who have been there, and I think that everybody's got a different opinion of it. I still think it would have been great. I just, to see the Who at sun up in the morning, to see Hendrix on the final day, that just, to see 10 Years After a Mountain and all these classic. I would have loved to have been there. From Nick Costa, are you a fan of Suffocation? Dude, we just did a Suffocation show last weekend. Of course I'm a fan of Suffocation. Guys, you got to sign up for the alerts so you know when all the videos are posted. I get so many people who ask me, when are you going to do a show on this? Do you like this band and all that kind of stuff? It's like, you're obviously not following all the videos we're doing here. So make sure you subscribe and make sure you sign up for the notifications and come check the channel every couple of days and see all the new videos we posted, because we're doing a ton of stuff here on the channel. So a lot of you guys are missing stuff all the time and asking like, when are you going to do a show on this? It's like, well, we did it 2 weeks ago. So keep tabs on what's going on here on the channel. We're moving fast. What else? Thoughts on the band Typo Negative and Live? Sorry, MJ Nation, not a fan of either one. Who else we got here? So from G Sace, hi, what Magma album do you think is the best to start to listen to their music? Well, again, if you've been following the channel, you know that I am not a Magma fan, so I wouldn't have a clue as to what album to recommend to you because I don't like any of them. Sorry, I just cannot get into Magma. I don't know what the best place to start with their live album, I guess. I don't know. Luke from Argentina, have you ever heard Vision Divine and Labyrinth? I sure have, although I'm not as up on all their albums, but I have a few from both of them. Yep. From Banana Moose TV, is there any chance to see a Peter Gabriel solo ranking from you? Perhaps at some point. I'm probably, I don't think I have his last couple, but I have all the early ones. So it's probably somewhat doable. He's on my list. I'll get to him at some point. Arutha Condion. Hey, Pete, how about a show about Dave Matthews Band or Tedeschi Trucks Band? I am not a Dave Matthews fan, so that's not going to happen. Tedeschi Trucks, possibly. They don't have a lot of albums, but I possibly could. You know, sometimes I tend to stay away from like newer bands who only have a couple albums out because you know that I'll do a ranking and they'll release a new album 6 months later. So like for Tedeschi Trucks, they only have a couple albums and I know they've got something else in the works. So I'm kind of hesitant to do that until they've got like a handful under their belt. And maybe I know they're not going to release anything for a little while. So I'll probably get to them at some point. I like Tedeschi Trucks. So that Mammoth is opening for Guns N' Roses. Yeah, I mean, that's a good slot for him. He's going to get a lot of exposure. Do I have any plans to see any concerts this year from Connor O'Reilly? I don't have any tickets. I haven't bought anything. I'm being kind of hesitant off the bat. You know, I'm vaccinated for sure, and I'm looking forward to seeing live music, but you know, I have to take into consideration other family members who we see fairly often who, you know, for reasons which I won't go into, are not vaccinated yet. And so we have to kind of be careful what we do. So as far as concerts go, I want to go to shows. Certainly, probably any that I go to will be outdoor shows for the time being. So, but I don't have any plans as of yet. So. Hey, Pete, have you ever gotten into the band Avantasia? You must be talking about these guys. Yeah, I mean, I like some of their stuff. I don't have all their albums, but good band. A lot of cool guest stars. From Maladen T. Hey, Pete, greetings from Serbia. Do you have any thoughts on moving gelatin plates? I have one of their albums. I think, they only released 2. Pretty cool stuff. That's some pretty quirky music. I like it. I only picked up that CD like maybe a year ago, so I don't have a lot of exposure to them. Who else we got here? From Pete CD Vonneworld. Hi, Pete. Have you heard Shoes at all? Early 80s power pop band. I have not. I've heard the name. I have not listened to them, no. From Jeremy Thomas. What product do you use on your hair? I don't. This is shampoo and dry, guys. I don't use any kind of stuff. I do occasionally use like a moisturizer because my hair is pretty dry. But that's it. I don't use any styling products or any of that kind of stuff. And I usually use Paul Mitchell shampoos. There you go. Pretty basic. What else we got here? From Angelos Papatos. Hey, Pete, are you planning to do any further shows on the 80s slasher movies? You did one with Rich a while ago. Are you planning to do another, including Chris? Oh, yeah. I mean, well, yeah, there's like a million 80s slasher films that we'll be covering on the Monsters Den. So it's just a matter of scheduling things and just doing them. So, yeah, you can expect more 80s slasher because we absolutely adore 80s slasher films. From Neumir, were you as disappointed with Steven Wilson's last album? Disappointed as in no reason to buy it. Listened to it probably 3 times and probably never need to listen to it again. I guess you can say I was disappointed in it. Yeah, it's not my cup of tea. I love Steven Wilson and I totally understand that he wants to go in that direction. But, you know, if that's kind of the realm that he's going to live in, I'm not sure I'm going to continue to follow. But, you know, it's okay. There's a couple good songs on there, but it's not the kind of music that I would put on and listen to on a regular basis. So there you have that. What else we got here? Can we get a show on Typo Negative or Virgin Steel from Adam Morris? Well, here's the deal. I don't like Typo Negative, so no. And Virgin Steel, I've never owned anything by them. So I guess that's a no on both. What I've heard of Virgin Steel is good. I just, you know, you can't buy albums from every single band on the planet. So, but Typo Negative, I never got into them. I'm one of those people that I hear Peter Steele's voice and I'm just kind of like, time to listen to something else. I know a lot of people love them. I know they're a favorite band of many, just not for me. What else we got here? Boy, oh boy, we got 100-something people on here. From Best Buddy Production. Big fan. Wanted to say I'm a huge fan. I was wondering what you think the most underrated Led Zeppelin song is. Most underrated. You know, I think I kind of mentioned it on yesterday's Classic Album Rewind show. I think Song Remains the Same is a completely underrated, absolutely terrific song from them that just doesn't get enough credit. Man, that's a Jimmy Page absolute tour de force. That might be my pick. I don't know. I'm sure I'd have to think about it a little bit more. Who else we got here? Any Kansas songs from 73 to 80 you don't enjoy? From Zeb, Z-E-B, that I don't enjoy. A couple of the more like bluesy boogie tracks from the first couple of albums I like. I don't think they're terrific, you know what I'm saying? So I probably would, I don't know which one I'd choose over the other, but there's like maybe 3 or 4 of those kind of songs on those first couple albums that I'm not crazy about. They're okay. Otherwise, I love the Kansas material from that period, obviously, as you all know. From Jacob Thompson, hi Pete, is it fair to say that Yngwie Malmsteen is a Swedish knockoff of Uli John Roth? And I don't think so at all. I think Yngwie is, you take Uli, Blackmore, and Hendrix, maybe a little Al Di Meola, throw them into a blender. There you have Yngwie. I don't think he's a complete knockoff of Uli at all. Does he borrow elements from Uli? Yeah, but I mean, Yngwie borrows from everybody and then kind of just totally did his own thing. Yngwie's issue, and I've talked about this before, is I think he tends to, at times, he like says how he's not influenced by any of those guys, and then he'll go and do a covers album where he does covers from all those guys. So I think, Yngwie just needs to come to grips and say, hey, I am one of the guys who was a trendsetter in the 80s, but I have my influences, and here they are. There's nothing wrong with saying who your influences are, right? I mean, we all have them, regardless of what you do, whether it's musically or whatever. You can be influenced by someone else or others, and it's quite okay, right? We all have to get our stuff from somewhere. Saturn Return, thanks for liking the channel, man. I appreciate it. Favorite band coming from Germany. My favorite German band. Well, you got the Scorpions, you got Accept, Birth Control. For me, that early Scorpion stuff from the 70s is unmatched. However, I'm not a huge fan of like the mid 80s Scorpions and onward. Meanwhile, Accept have been pretty fucking consistent throughout their career, right? I don't know. It's either Accept or Scorpions. Hard to say. Depends on, what you're looking at. From the Classics are Ace. Hi, Pete. Merging your loves of prog and horror movies, what's your opinion of John Carpenter's film scores and recent Lost Themes albums? I haven't heard the Lost Themes album, so I really couldn't tell you. But his film scores are great. I'm not much of a film score soundtrack guy. So kind of a hard question for me, although I love his films, as you all know, and the film scores are great. So, yeah, I can't comment a hell of a lot on that. From Simon Boyers, hey, Pete, have you thought about doing a Steely Dan album review? You might not have heard of them. They were a jazz rock band in the 70s, FYI. Simon, are you new to Sea of Tranquility? Because I have done top 10 songs of Steely Dan. I have done ranking the albums of Steely Dan. I covered Steely Dan in probably 5, 6, 7, 8 shows on this channel over the years. I absolutely love Steely Dan. Yes, I've heard of them. So again, you must be new to the channel. So yeah, reviewed all the albums, talked about all the albums, ranked them, favorite songs, the whole 9 yards. You have to do a search here on the channel, man. Ronnie the Munters. Hi, Pete. Greetings from Rotterdam, the Netherlands. Just want to say, love your channel. Always nice to see you there. There are still people who love real music. Thank you, man. Yep, real music, the only way to go. From Keith Bradbury, any thoughts on the Straubs? All right, so here's the Straubs deal with me. So they have a lot of albums. I really like, there's like 3 or 4 albums from like what the early mid 70s, the mid 70s, I'd say, when Wakeman was in the band, and a couple of albums afterwards that are, these big keyboardy Mellotron albums and whatnot. I like those. I have like a 2-disc compilation of theirs. I never went out and bought their catalog. I have like I've tried to get into some of their more recent stuff. Dave Cousins' vocals are kind of hit or miss with me sometimes. And like I said, I like some of their music. I do. Some of it's a little too folky for me. When they were doing more of the 70s kind of, symphonic prog stuff mixed with the folk, and I kind of dug that, but I never like really went and investigated their catalog, start to finish, other than I've heard lots of their albums here and there. So any Goblin ranking coming someday? I don't know. I only have, I think, 3 or 4 Goblin CDs. I'd have to see like, what am I missing in the catalog? If they put out a lot of stuff post like early 80s, because I got like 70s and 80s stuff, and that's about it. So I love Goblin though, obviously. Let's see. Have you tried Bandmade? Never heard of them. From Ted Watson. Metal Madness. Another recent killer death metal recommendation band is Ghastly, Death Velour, and Mercurial Passages. God, there's so many death and black metal albums that come out like every week. It's mind-boggling. I used to try really hard, like maybe 5-10 years ago, to keep up with like every extreme metal album that came out on all the labels, because we work with all the labels. It's impossible. It's literally, and it gets even worse now, because now it's like I spend more time doing content on the YouTube channel and less time reviewing CDs for the website. I got, a crew that does that for the most part. So my exposure to all these bands that are coming out, I just don't have the time. This is no lie, guys. I used to listen to and review anywhere from 350 to 500 albums a year for ages. And I just, man, if I listen to 100 now, that's a lot. I just don't have the time. I do not have the time. So while I appreciate everybody like recommending all these cool new bands that are popping up, it's like, I don't know when I'm going to have time to listen to half this stuff. I try to kind of pick and choose the ones I think that are really notable. And if, like I said, the bands or the label sends me the CDs, I try desperately to give them some props on the channel. But man, the days of me like listening and reviewing every single album that comes out, I just can't do it anymore. Can't do it. Am I a fan of the band America? I mean, I love America's Hits. I do. Fantastic band. Other than like a great 2-disc compilation, I don't have all their albums. But man, what a fantastic band. Great stuff. Great stuff. Let's see. Yo, Pete, have you seen Spiral yet? I have not. I have not gone to a movie. They opened up the theater down the street, but I haven't actually gone out to the theaters to see a film. I heard it's pretty good. I've heard the Swedish power metal band Sabaton mentioned on the channel here and there. Pete, how familiar are you with this band? Have you listened to any songs, albums? Yeah, I'm not a big fan, Nathan. They're okay. My problem with power metal is there's so many power metal bands, and so many of them to me just sound so similar. And I don't like the kind of like happy power metal thing. Like I really try to love Hammerfall. I just can't get into them. I like some songs here and there. But I have learned over the years, I really tried so hard to become like a big fan of like power metal as a whole. And I just find that so many of the bands just sound too much alike to me. And I'm very picky and choosy with the power metal bands that I like. Sabaton just doesn't click for me for whatever reason. I know my buddy Steve Keeler is an enormous fan. I've been around Steve a lot where he listened to power metal. We've listened to albums together. And I'm just like, they just don't do it a ton for me. They don't do a ton for me. Let's see. What else we got? Any thoughts on Wolf Van Halen's new stuff? I mean, the 2 songs I heard were really good. Guy's got a lot of talent. He's going to go places. So, yeah, I'm always interested to hear more. Are we going to see Ranking the Albums of Anathema with Nick Franco? I'm sure at some point. Like everything else, these things take time. So we'll see. Hey, Pete, are you a fan of Jack Bruce's solo career? I got a couple of his solo albums. Grant, it's decent. He's got a lot of material. So I haven't heard enough, but I've heard everything I've heard. I've liked. From Bengal Gangster, do you like Zebra? Seems like a band you may like. Yeah, I mean, of course. Growing up in New York, Zebra has been a staple on the concert scene here for a million years, and I've seen them numerous times. I've got the Zebra's Greatest Hits album, where they have 3 albums in total, so I probably have all the Zebra I really need on there. But yeah, great band. Cookie Monster, Colton. Hey man, I'm a huge fan of you and your music opinions. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Mike Baker, you got to check out King Weed here on YouTube. 15 albums since 2017. Jesus, 15 albums since 2017. Are you serious? I know I'm not going to have time to listen to all that. Bananamus TV, what do you think of the so-called genre post-progressive? I don't, honestly, what the fuck does that mean? Post-punk, post-rock, post-progressive, post-metal. We got way too many labels for music, man. So I don't know what post-progressive is. It's progressive rock. I got people trying to tell me that shoegaze is progressive rock, post-progressive, alternative progressive. Oh my God. It's like, there's just way too many labels, way too many bands. Everybody wants to put a tag on something. I don't know. So no, I have no idea what post-progressive is. Can we get a show on Spinal Tap? I think that'd be funny if you start wondering what skits tracks were influenced by what real life bands think. Yeah, I mean, I don't own any of the Spinal Tap albums. I love the movie. I had at one point that in the early '90s they released the album. I don't even remember what the hell it's called. I never even kept it. I like the film. I like watching it. As far as their music goes, it's okay. You should do a show on Kansas spinoff material: Protocol, Mastodon, Native Window, Streets, Carrie and Steve Soul. I mean, that might be interesting. Protocol stuff is great. I don't know if I own. My buddy Steve made me a couple CDRs of the Mastodon stuff. That's pretty good. The Native Window, I think I have. I know I had it. Streets is great. Steve solo stuff is good. I love most of Carrie's solo stuff is good. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff there. Zeb, any Kansas songs you don't enjoy? Dude, I already answered this before. How many times are you going to post that? Yeah, I don't. There's a couple of the more boogie type tracks from the first couple albums that I'm not nuts about, but everything else I absolutely love. From Luke G. Pete, have you ever heard Rata Blanca, Argentinian hard rock metal band? I have not. Sounds interesting. Purple mixed with rainbow. I have not. Rata Blanca. I'll have to check that out. Hey, Pete, have you tried Catatonia? Yes, I just answered that already. Yes, I have a good chunk of the Catatonia albums. Not a huge fan. They're one of those bands I consistently buy their CDs, and then I'm like, after like 5 or 6 listens, I'm kind of like, yeah, I'm kind of bored with this. I like Catatonia. I don't love them. That's my kind of relationship with Catatonia. What else? Last 2 Kansas albums kick ass. Yes, Dar McAdams, you know it. Hey, Doc. Greetings from Toronto. Don't say Lonely Streets. I did not say Lonely Street. No, I'm talking about the kind of the more boogie tracks, you know. What song from Megadeth do you think is the most underrated and why? Underrated? Oh my God. Black Friday. Intense. Nobody ever talks about it. It's like the hidden gem on that album. The Devil on the Wall. What else we got here? Do you know Offenbach? Heard of him? Never listened to him. Cheers from Spain. What's up, Pablo? Yngwie gets a bit lost in Flash, but still great. Yeah, I mean, Yngwie rules, man. I love Yngwie. It's just, you know, there are certain questionable things that he has always done, you know, which is it's Yngwie, right? It's Yngwie. Corey from Kansas City, what's going on? So Steve Walsh is actually from the state of Missouri, not Kansas. Why does that not surprise me? Adam Morris, thanks for answering my first question. Thoughts on Chris Impellitteri, and would you do a show on him and his band Impellitteri? Amazing guitar player. The problem is I think I have like 2 Impellitteri albums. I don't think I've ever owned any more of that. So again, it's just a matter of, is that something I want to invest in and go out and buy all the rest of his catalog? I couldn't even tell you how many albums these guys have been around forever. But yeah, immensely talented, immensely talented. What is my favorite Gravedigger album? Again, one of those power metal bands that I just never really dove into. There's too many of them. So I don't have a power metal. I don't have a Gravedigger favorite album. That's probably a Rich Catino question. So I'm not well versed in Gravedigger. Pete, do you know who Anthony Fantano is? He's one of the most popular music critics on YouTube. No idea. Guys, there's a million people on YouTube doing album reviews and music critiques and music shows and all that kind of stuff. I don't have time to watch half of these things. I have like maybe a handful of YouTube shows that I watch. I tend to not want to watch people who do the same shit that I do. All right. That's just, I want to, to me, that doesn't, it's not that it doesn't inspire me, but I'd rather watch someone or something that's different than what I do to kind of take my mind off of all this. I mean, Anderton's TV is my favorite YouTube channel. I love watching that because I, love guitars and I love just watching people playing and talking about guitars and gear and all that kind of stuff. That's, I watch other shows as well, but that's my kind of go-to. If I'm going to sit and just watch YouTube shows, I'll generally go there and just kind of catch up. I'll do it once a week or twice a week and I'll catch up on a bunch of things. So, man, oh man, we got a lot of people in the chat. Holy moly, almost 300 of them. Do I like Rod Stewart's albums? I mean, yeah, I mean, I like stuff off of Stewart's albums. I've got like 2 like double disc Rod Stewart collections that have like great selection of stuff from throughout his career. That's probably all I really need. Rod is great. I love him. From Keith, what is your favorite Kansas spinoff material? I would say probably Streets or Protocol for me. From Brian Downing, sorry if you've answered this before, but are you a Zebra fan? Yes, I just answered it like 5 minutes ago. I like Zebra. They only had like, what, 3 albums. I have a greatest hits set, probably all I really need. I don't know if I'll be doing a ranking on them because, again, I've never owned the 3 separate albums. I just have the greatest hits. I've seen them live many times. You know, born and raised in the state of New York. They played here a million times over the years. So what else we got here? Will I ever take the Magma pill from Rickster Dixter? I've taken the Magma pill. In fact, I've taken probably a half of a jar of Magma pills. I went out and bought the entire catalog in the 90s. I had them forever. I tried and tried and tried and tried, could not get into them. And at some point, you got to say, fuck it. I just can't get into this band. And that's exactly what happened. And I got rid of all of them. Sorry, they just don't click with me. I hear those vocals and I want to just run for the hills. So musically, really cool stuff. Vocally, and all this weird Kabayan language crap. Sorry, can't do it. Sorry, I've tried. Not for me. What else we got here? Arutha, best German band, Blind Guardian. I forgot them. Yeah, Blind Guardian's great too. They're definitely a top 5 for me. Cookie Monster Colton, what are your opinion on the recent accusations made against Megadeth's Dave Ellefson and then dismissing him from the band? All right, here's the deal. I was actually going to do a rant video on the David Ellefson thing, but then I said, you know what? He's probably going through a hard enough time now, but I'm going to do it right now. So here's the deal. I don't know Dave Ellefson from a hole in the wall, right? I don't know him. He's come and gone from Megadeth a few times over the years. All I will say on this matter, and this is not just towards David Ellefson, this is towards anybody. It's 2021. With technology, if you really think that you are going to record a suggestive or pornographic or sexually explicit video of yourself and send it to someone, especially if you are a famous person, if you think that shit is not going to come out, you are a moron. Okay? People, we have seen this a ton over the last 5-10 years. Do not send stuff like that in a text from your phone. Do not record yourself doing like stuff that you don't want to come out. Because you know what? It'll come out. It'll come out. Trust me. Dave Ellefson should have known better. Never mind the fact that he's married. You don't send shit like, I mean, you see athletes and businessmen and actors and just guys, stop with this. It's like, you know, it's one thing if you want to do extramarital stuff or mess around with who you want, but man, don't record it. Don't text it. Jesus. Enough. How stupid are people? I mean, the fact that anybody thinks that they can get away with anything nowadays, whether it's like you're doing something like that or you're plotting to like, you know, whatever, embezzle money, you know, off someone, whatever, you're going to get caught. You're going to get caught. You can't get away with anything anymore. Technology will not allow it. So the Dave Ellefson should fucking know better. And now it's too late, right? So that's all I got to say on that. Thoughts on Bathory, classic legendary band. Some great material there. Keith Bradbury, I thought you were talking about Steel Eye Span. I wasn't talking about Steel Eye Span. Don't know what you're talking about. Have I heard much anecdote and stuff from Simon? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Those early anecdote albums are great. I have all of those. Mellotron Heaven, good heavy riffs from time to time. Joe Wilson, have you heard the new album from Swedish band Witch? Amazing. Sound like Lucifer, but progger. I haven't heard them, but I've heard people talk about them and tell me how good this stuff is. So, yeah. From Dare McAdams, Pete, loved your top 40 hits from your youth. Was so fun. Yeah, I had a blast doing that. And I will tell you, there's a guy who watches the channel. God, I would love to be able to get the link to that to share with you guys. But there's a guy I think he's from the Netherlands, who watched that show and loved it. And he has like an internet radio show. So he asked me if he could take my entire show and create a radio program out of it. And basically, after each of my little explanations about each song, play the song and turn that into like a 4-hour radio program. So he did that. And then he sent me the file for it. So I actually have that saved on a little flash drive. So a lot of times when I have like a party or something or gathering at the house, like family over, I'll actually take that flash drive, plug it into my computer and the speakers. And it's basically a 4-hour, you know, Pete's top 40 hits of the 70s show, like a Casey Kasem type of thing. And there's me talking about each song, what it means to me. And then the song plays. So it was awesome. I would love to do something like that again. I think that was a lot of fun. Let's see. From Nathan Hale, who is your favorite Universal monster, and what do you think is the most underrated Universal monster movie? I'm a Wolfman guy, so Lon Chaney Jr. as the Wolfman he's my go-to. But Frankenstein's monsters right behind. What is the most underrated Universal monster film? That's a great question. Underrated. Man. It has its issues plot-wise and everything like that, but I think the most underrated is probably Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman. I know it gets shit on from some people, and it's got, like I said, it's got its issues, but I just think it's such a fun film. That would probably be my choice, because most of the others are really, really, there's some that are just really bad, and then there's some that are just legendary. That one's kind of like right in the middle, kind of floats between the two. I think it's the most underrated, personally. Oliver, will you get the brand new box set by the Beach Boys called Feel Flows? I'm not that much of a Beach Boys fan, so no, I won't be getting that. Take care, Mark. What else? From Luca, an idea for Prague Seat, a pub quiz between Team A against Team B, and I'm the quiz master. I mean, yeah, I would like to do something like that one of these days. And stay tuned for a pretty cool show that's just been booked on my calendar with Team C coming up in a couple weeks. I'm not going to give too much of it up yet. Let's see. Hi, Pete. If you love Alan Holdsworth and Miles Davis, you should check out Bill Evans in the 60s, or people like Warren Marsh and Keith Jarrett. Oh, Keith Jarrett is amazing. Keith Jarrett and Bill Evans stuff is, yeah, these are all classic guys. Keith Jarrett, amazing musician. From Njoyce5464, any chance of ranking the Faces albums? I've already done it. You guys got to learn to use the playlist and do a search on the channel. I get questions every day from folks, when are you going to do this? And like, I did it like 3 months ago, 6 months ago, last week. Do a search, guys. Use the search function. It's very easy. Just go to that little magnifying glass, type in the Faces. Boom, there you got it. Go to the playlist, go to the ranking the albums. Boom, they're all right there. Let's see, what else? Do you plan on revisiting your past shows like Deep Cut Dive or favorite albums through the decades? Deep Cut Dive, probably not. Honestly, not a lot of people watch that show. I had high hopes for that, and it was kind of fun to do, but man, the viewership for those shows just fell off a cliff. So that's why now, instead, I'm doing these like month-long special series that we'll do them for 30 days. We'll try to do a video each day. It's really cool. People are into it, and then I'll move on to something else. I know a lot of what we do on this channel is trial and error, right? So we try to come up with ideas, see if they work, see if they stick. If they stick, we continue doing them all the time. We add them to the regular programming. If they don't, we give them a test run, and then we move on to something else. The favorite albums through the decades, I mean, that was only meant to be 1 month, right? The thing is, we're specifically looking at bands who have 3 decades or more worth of releases. So it's not like we could just do that forever. May I revisit that at some point and get to some of the bands that I didn't get to? Perhaps. I might totally do that. As far as Deep Cut Dive, I think that one's kind of put to rest. But hopefully you guys like this classic album rewind we're doing this month. I think that'll be a lot of fun. And again, it's just a kind of a cool way to go back and take another look and talk in depth about a particular album, a very notable album. So... all right. Neil Stoker. Hi, Pete. My wife wants to know where to send the bill for all the CDs I have bought due to your recommendations. You know how many people tell me that? And trust me, I know I buy a shit ton of music, man. So I buy just as much as you guys do. So from Roy Glancy. Hi, Pete. When you have so much music to listen to review, how do you do it? Is there a technique? Well, I mean, like I mentioned before, I don't listen to and review as much new music as I used to. So, historically, especially for the website, this is before the YouTube channel became really popular, I would listen to and review like 350, 400, 500 albums a year for the website easily. There was very few notable releases that got past me that I wasn't all in on. And, either I went and bought them or I at least reviewed them and, whatever. That has gone way down because I'm just too busy doing stuff here for the channel, and I'm too busy kind of ranking catalogs and doing top 10 song shows and all this kind of stuff, and stuff that I am fairly familiar with. So I don't listen to as much new stuff as possible. I still do listen to plenty of new albums, but you know what? If I listen to 100 or 150 new albums a year, that's probably the new norm for me. as opposed to 3, 4, 5, 600. So yeah, it's just a matter of me. I work from home, so I sit here and I listen to while I'm working. I'll listen to a new album while I'm cooking dinner. I'll listen to it at the gym. I'll put it on my iPod and I'll listen to it in the car. So that's generally what I do. I try to find time to, just kind of digest it. I'm listening to music all the time. It's kind of my life, right? So let's see, from Jeremy. I know you aren't a big fan of grunge, but if you had to pick between Soundgarden and Alice in Chains, who'd you go with? I'd probably go with Alice in Chains, although they're the two that I really like from that whole period. Really, the only two. Yeah, I'd go with Alice in Chains by a little bit, but they're both great. Let's see. How do you feel about a Van Halen tribute with remaining members? Wolf on keys and John 5 on guitar. Is that a thing that's going to happen, or is that just you're kind of saying you'd like to see it? I don't know. I mean, I don't know. John 5 is a great player. Wolfgang is pretty talented. I don't know. I honestly don't know if we're ever going to see that, but I'd be interested in checking it out. What else? Key Strawbs albums, Hero and the Heroine, Grave New World, Ghost, and Bursting at the Seams. Yeah, those are basically the ones that I'm pretty familiar with. What else we got here? Hi, Pete. What about doing a show about your favorite jazz fusion albums from the 80s from Arnaud B? Potentially, I'd probably like to do a show like that with George LeMay, because speaking of George LeMay, there he is. I think George and I probably could tackle that pretty easily. I mean, the 80s fusion stuff is a little bit different than the 70s, but there's plenty of bands that I like quite a bit that probably don't get enough attention. So George, we should talk about that. Let's see. Jacob Thompson, what are your thoughts on the new wave of traditional heavy metal that originally started in Sweden in the early 2000s and managed to spread across to Europe? I mean, I'm all for it. Traditional metal, who doesn't love that? There's a lot of good bands, man. There's so many great younger bands that have come out in the last 30 years. And that's one of the things that I struggle with on the channel here sometimes, is because, how much new bands to talk about versus the classic bands. Because, if I were to do a show on the new wave of traditional heavy metal bands, okay, and highlight, 10 of the favorites of mine, whatever, we'll get some people watching the show, but it'll be pretty minimal. If I do a new wave of British heavy metal talking about the older ones, thousands and thousands of people watch that, because there's older viewers have a tendency to not really want to hear or be involved in anything that's kind of new. So I kind of struggle with that, but I'm going to do both anyway. That's just what I do. But I mean, a perfect example is the other day on Wednesday on What's Hot with Sea of Tranquility Day, I posted 3 videos, right? One, the new Subterranean Masquerade, fairly recent band, right? Israeli progressive metal band. The new Kansas live album and the new Renaissance live album. Well, guess which one got by far the least amount of views? Subterranean Masquerade. And that'll be every week. I'll review 3 or 4 or 5 new albums. Maybe 2 will be from a more recent band. The others will be either, new releases from a classic band or a reissue or something like that. And 9 times out of 10, we'll get, very few views on the newer stuff, and people will flock to the old stuff. It's just the way it goes. So, but I'm of the opinion, hey, you know what? If 1,000 people watched the Subterranean Masquerade show and it prompted them to go out and prompted, 50 of them to go out and buy the CD, that helps the band. Right. So that's why I do it. I wish people would be a little more open-minded about exploring new music. I mean, what does it hurt to sit on a 10-minute video listening to me talk about a newer band? It doesn't really cost you anything, right? And maybe what I have to say might intrigue you to investigate them, whether you go listen to them on the internet or you find them on Spotify or you go buy the CD. But it's just so many people are just not even willing to, oh, Subterranean Masquerade, never heard of them, I'm not going to watch that video. That's what I deal with. That's what I struggle with all the time here. So while I would love to do 75% new bands and 25% of the classic stuff, then people just they go away. So I have to keep it. It's probably like a 60-40 type of thing, maybe even 70-30 at times. But I will continue to highlight the new stuff, because a lot of great newer bands in metal and hard rock and prog and fusion and all that kind of stuff, right? So. All right. Now that I went on and on about that, Keith, you keep asking the same question over and over again. Keith Bradbury, do a show on Kansas spinoff material. I answered it like 20 minutes ago. Nicholas, have you heard of a band from Sweden called Smash Into Pieces? I have not. Cool name. Ronnie Beaumont, love your channel, Pete. How about Pink Floyd's members' solo LPs? We're actually doing on In the Prague Seat. God, is it later this month? I think it's later this month. We're going to be doing ranking some of our favorite albums, solo albums from members of the big, like 5 or 6 prog bands. You know, Pink Floyd, yes, Genesis, so on and so forth. So you'll probably hear some of those come up in that show. Will we do something on all of them? I don't know. I mean, for me, I have all of Gilmore's. I'm not a big Roger Waters fan, so I don't own any of Roger's solo albums, and I don't have any of Nick's stuff or whatever. So I don't know. And as far as any reaction to Roger Waters' comments on the Animals remix, I haven't read it. Let's see. Can you make a video of your favorite power ballads? We've already done it, man. Lynn Versace and I did that. Go check out here on the channel. We did that months ago. Roger Waters is a creep. Yeah, he might be. I don't know. So I couldn't tell you. But what else? Love the content with Martin Popoff. Have you met him in person? From Andrew Dunn. No, Martin and I have known each other through the internet for many, many years. I've never met Martin in person. We are both dying to do that. I spend, as you know, a lot of time with Martin each and every week. Martin has become a very close, trusted friend of mine, and we have talked about eventually, when we can, maybe having like a kind of like a meet and greet somewhere, wherever. We talked about doing it in New York City or something, but something that makes sense. If there's an event that he and I are both going to go to, or we can do something and do like a Q&A meet and greet, we would love to do it. I desperately want to get together with Martin in person. He and I are very similar in a lot of ways, and we click really, really well. It's not every day that you collaborate with someone, especially in this nature, through the internet, where it just instantly, it feels familiar and it clicks. And I'll tell you, like Martin and I have communicated on and off for ages. I mean, like 20 years, right? But it wasn't until I actually invited him on the channel to interview him about, I think, his first Rush book, the Rush book that came out like a year and a half ago or something like that. It wasn't until then, and it was immediate. It's like we did that show, and then like as soon as we got done taping, we were like, "You want to do something else together?" That was great, and then that turned out to something else together, and now it's like I think neither one of us feel like the week is complete unless we have our Friday morning sit down and plan a show, and then after the show is recorded, we literally talk about what we're going to do next and what's on my to-do list, and what he feels comfortable filling in with, and he appears on other shows on the channel too. So Martin Popoff is the best. I love his wit. He's personable. He's so knowledgeable. He's got great stories, and he and I just really, really click. And it's hard to form that kind of relationship, like I said, via the internet, right? But yeah, Martin's the best, and I hope to meet him in person sometime in the not too distant future, and would love to do that with him and a lot of you guys, right? So any more shows or discussion about Alan Parsons? Richard Tandy, Tesla's singer. Yeah. I don't know. We did the ranking the album show on Alan Parsons. I probably could do a top 10 song show. I don't know how much more I could do on Alan Parsons. Love the stuff. From Dave, what are your thoughts about Wolf Mother? Man, we've got 400 people on here. Holy moly. I dig Wolf Mother. That's fun stuff. But I'm a sucker for like beefy 70s heavy rock, right? And that's exactly where Wolf Mother is kind of sitting in. So love it. Love it. Let's see. Ranking the albums of Gamma Ray from Metal Person J. Well, here's the deal, man. So I only own like 1 or 2 Gamma Ray CDs. Again, when it comes back to the power metal thing, there's so many power metal bands, and to me, so many of them sound alike, and there's just only so many things you can buy. I've got a shit ton of CDs, right? Can't have everything. Rich Catino is an enormous fan, and he's been bugging me. Let's do a gamma ray ranking. Let's do a gamma ray ranking. So what I may do is I may have Rich and maybe find someone else who's a big gamma ray fan and get them on to do a ranking together. I'll moderate it and add some 2 cents on albums that I am familiar with, and just to do it because I think they deserve to have a ranking show. So I'll talk to Rich about that because I think that'd be kind of cool. From Prague Queen, I just ordered Matching Mole's 2 albums yesterday after hearing them for the first time 2 days ago. I think they'll be a great summer listen this year. Yeah, I mean, Matching Mole is great. That's classic Canterbury stuff. There's a good purchase right there. From Guto Doom, hey Pete, do you like atmospheric black metal like Agalloch and Wolves in the Throne Room? Yeah, I think I have most of the material from those bands. Yeah, that's pretty cool stuff. I got heavily into black metal in 2005 to 2010 or 12 or something like that. I don't listen to as much of it anymore, but yeah, those 2 great US bands right there. Awesome. From Zeb, least like King Crimson Records 69 through 79. I guess this is Q&A from you here today. My least favorite, I think you're trying to say, from 69 to 74, probably used to be Islands. I think now it's Lizard. One or the other. They're both great though. But probably if I were to look at all those albums from that time period, it fluctuates between one or the other. But they're both really good. From Eric Knapp, fairly new to the channel. I love it. Thoughts on Typo Negative? All right, I've answered it twice already today. I'm not a Typo Negative fan. Don't like Peter Steele's vocals. Don't really care for their music. So I've tried. It just doesn't do it for me. Thoughts on Hellhammer from Corey Wilson. Love the early Hellhammer stuff. I'm a big Celtic Frost fan. So yeah, Hellhammer, absolutely essential for the creation of early extreme music. From Christian Mariano, how did you develop such a wide taste in music? I don't know, man. There's not a ton that I don't like. I just listen to a lot of bands and, and the genres that I dig. And, whether it's jazz or jazz fusion or progressive rock or metal, hard rock, I like all sorts of forms of metal. I like a lot of pop stuff. And, I don't mind some disco stuff. I don't, my wife listens to a lot of modern country. I don't mind that. What I don't like rap and I don't like hip hop. Drives me nuts. There's some dance music stuff I don't really care about either. But, from Wu Bino, band you've seen the most? Dream Theater. I've seen Dream Theater well over 20 times. They're definitely in the lead. There's other bands I've seen a lot. I've seen Metallica a lot. I've seen Deep Purple a lot. I've seen, Leonard Skinner a lot. There's other bands that I've seen, 5-10 times. But yeah, those bands I've seen quite a lot. From Harlan Jackson, is Steve Hughes coming back on again? Yeah, absolutely. I talk to Steve every so often. Steve, if you're watching what's happening, we got to get you on the show. Yeah, Steve is a riot. So I'm looking forward to get him on another show in the not too distant future. From Gianni Ottaviani, greetings from Florence, Italy. Always following and thank you for everything. Thoughts about The Darkness? Guitar Hack kind of was trying to turn me on to The Darkness recently. He sent me a couple of video links to listen to. Not bad. I don't know if it's necessarily my cup of tea, but they're not bad. They got some good guitar riffs, and I'm not nuts about the vocals, but I know a lot of people dig them. I haven't listened to them enough. So we'll have to see. I'll have to dive more in. Armando Venditti, what's going on from Edmonton? How are you? Dante's Python Exotics. Hi, Pete. Have you ever done a ranking of the Dead Daisies? I haven't. And, the reason why, like I explained earlier today, with these bands that have only been around a few years and only have a couple of albums and are still regular releasing albums, it's hard to do a ranking because that in a year another one's going to come out. So I haven't been going for some of the, unless they have a sizable catalog. The Dead Daisies only have 4 albums, maybe 5, if that. Someone mentioned the Tedeschi Trucks before. If they're a band that's been around for a decade or so and have 6, 7, 8, 10 albums, yeah, you can do that. But if they only have a couple, they've only been around a few years, I tend to want to wait on stuff like that. So I love the Dead Daisies. Maybe I may wait a year or two for something like that. So we'll see. Let's see. Jock, you're very welcome. I'm doing this for you guys in the band. That's why I do this, man. It's for all of you. To get exposed to new music or be reminded of music may have forgotten about, and for the bands, because I want you guys to listen to them. That's what it's all about. Were you ever a fan of Warrior Soul from Ian Sharp? They were okay. They didn't really click with me. I know a lot of people in the New York area really dug them. Okay, not really my cup of tea though. What else? Who are some of your favorite classic jazz artists? Probably Man, Art Blakey, Thelonious Monk, Miles Davis is my number one. Lee Morgan, Cannonball Adderley, Charlie Parker, of course, John Coltrane, Chick Corea, obviously, probably some of my most favorite out of all of them. Herbie Hancock. What comic book arc or character would you like to hear a metal concept out based on, and who would make it? Jesus, wow. That's a great question. Well, a lot of like my favorite comic book character is Thor. And of course, we've had all sorts of like, metal and death metal bands do plenty of concept albums and albums on the Asgardians and the whole Nordic gods and all that kind of stuff. I think I would like to hear, some of the more like Gothic or horror titles, because I'm a big Marvel guy. I love like stuff like Morbius and Man Thing and Tomb of Dracula and Werewolf by Night and the Ghost Rider and stuff. I think it'd be kind of cool to have some like metal band or even like a prog band do like a really dark album all about the Ghost Rider, right? Or about Morbius, the Living Vampire, or the Man Thing, right? The Creature from the Swamps. That's what I would kind of like. That would be kind of cool. I think that'd be interesting. I'd check that out. Have you considered talking about outstanding tribute bands your audience should look out for when they come to town? Well, I mean, the problem is most of the tribute bands I see are local. So unless you live in New York, if you're in France or you're in California, that's not going to mean much to you. So, it's kind of hard to do. How about RPWL? They're not bad. I'm not a huge fan. Their musical is a little, when it comes to prog, a little straightforward for me, but good band, good at what they do. They've got some solid albums. It's just not a band that I'm like follow religiously. Let's see. Clutch would make for a good ranking video if you haven't done them already. 12 albums. Yeah, the problem is I only have like 3 Clutch albums. I've never owned anything else. I like Clutch. I like what I've heard, but I'd have to go and buy the entire catalog. And it's like, I've got other stuff to kind of concentrate on. I think I missed a whole bunch of, let's see. And guys, I'm getting close to my time here to sign off. But let me just see if I missed anything. God, man, you guys are busy. Am I planning a ranking of Barclay James Harvest? They're on my long list. So eventually, should Peter, Chris, and Ace Frehley take part in the rest of the Kiss farewell tour? If it was up to me, I'd say yeah, but I don't make the rules, and I don't think Gene and Paul are that interested. Is the Hudson Valley Squares ever going to do another show with Andrew from Last in Line? He was a great guest. Possibly down the road. We'll see. There's, I don't say no to anything. What else we got here? Pete, you show CDs all the time. Did you give up on vinyl records? Okay, I've told the story a million times, Kumko, but I'll tell it again. I had probably, 300-400 vinyl records back in the 80s when I was a kid. When basically vinyl died around the end of the 80s, early 90s, I went all in on CDs. I eventually sold my whole vinyl collection at my parents' yard sale, like in the mid 90s. They're all gone. I now have 9,000-10,000 CDs. I'm not going back to buying vinyl. I don't have the room. I barely have the room for the CDs I have. So I'm not doing it. I don't own a turntable anymore. So no, nothing against vinyl. I grew up on vinyl. I love it, but I can't do it. It just doesn't make any sense for me. As much as I would love to be able to go out to Rock Fantasy or somewhere or buy a new vinyl and come home and then play. And the thing is too, it's like I'd have to have a turntable, a place where I sit and listen to it. I listen to music all over the house. I don't have like a music room per se. So it just, for me, it logistically doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't. I don't have the room for albums, and I'd have to buy equipment and all that kind of stuff. So no, I'm not going there. What is my favorite incarnation of Warren Haynes' Allman's Mule solo? Oh, that's a great question. I love him in the Allmans, but I love Government Mule. So I don't know. I would say it's a toss between Mule and the Allmans, especially the early Mule stuff, although I like the new stuff too. But man, he was great in the Allman Brothers. I don't know. That's a tough question. I'm going to cop out and say it's between those two. I like his solo stuff too, but man, he was so good in the Allman Brothers. He was the MVP in the Allmans throughout all those years, in my opinion. And I love Government Mule. So that's a great question. Thoughts on new metal? yeah, I listened to Korn at the time and Slipknot and a couple other bands. Looking back on it, it doesn't really do anything for me. I really have soured on it over the years. What do you think of Greta Van Fleet? Well, Conrad, if you've been watching the channel, I've reviewed like every Greta Van Fleet album when it comes out. I like Greta Van Fleet. So you guys got to get caught up on some of the videos, man. I get the impression a lot of you guys don't watch half the videos that are on here. What else? The new Orbloister Call album is great. Yes, indeed it is. I looked around the internet and I could not find a Glass Hammer ranking from Crawford Glizza Devil. Yeah, good luck with finding that. They got 1 million albums, but you will be seeing it on here eventually. They're on my list to do. I've got every Glass Hammer album. From Jesse Tribble, a fan of Crocus? Nah, not really. I like the Headhunter album back in the day. I don't own any Crocus anymore. Yeah, it was never a big band on my radar. I was watching one of the videos with Butch and he mentioned Scrape. Went to listen to their debut and really liked it. Did you dig the band? Not sure if it's your cup of tea. I had it. I got rid of it back in the day. It didn't do a lot for me. I know Butch loves them. It's not really my cup of tea. That kind of comes from that whole like new metal era that a lot of those bands just were not long lasting for me. I got into a few of them at the time, and then a year or two later, I was kind of like, eh. What else we got? Hi, Peter. Are there any bands, artists that you haven't seen but wanted to see? Oh, man, that I haven't seen. Yeah, there was a time where I had there were a few left that I never got to see. So we're talking about like bands that are still out there touring, I'm assuming, or bands that were like around in my lifetime that I never just got. Well, let me just take a look around here. Who have I not seen here? Geez, I've seen almost everybody. I had a chance to see Frank Zappa. Didn't do that. Shame on me. That's one regret. Man, who else? I regret that I never saw Motorhead more than once. All right. Yeah, I mean, I've seen everybody. There's very few that I have not seen. I'm just looking around my CD collection here. Yeah, I can't think of any like band that I really love that I just never got the chance to see, other than, Frank Zappa, like I just mentioned, that I never got a chance to see at least once. That were around. Yeah, I mean, I've seen everybody. I don't think I have any regrets of bands that are I just never get a chance to and never had a chance to see. The new wave of British heavy metal, could it ever happen again? I don't know. The early 80s were a ripe time for metal like that. I honestly don't think that we're going to have that time again. But when you never say never, right? Who knows? Who knows? Yosemite Dan, have you ever listened to The Warning? Great little female band out of Mexico. There was someone, I don't know who it was, who used to post something about The Warning on every single video I posted for like months, saying the greatest band in the world, greatest band in the world. I watched a couple of YouTube videos. They're okay. All right. I don't know about the greatest band in the world, but good female, good bunch of girls there, good musicians. Their music was good. Maury, thoughts on Zebra? I think I've answered the Zebra question like 5 times already today. I'm from New York. I've seen Zebra live many times throughout my lifetime. They're a really good band. I have a greatest hits set. They've got 3 albums. All I need from them. Zebra's great. There you have it. Am I a fan of the grunge scene or the whole 2000s emo stuff? No, I hated the grunge scene. I hated the emo nonsense. The only 2 bands from the whole alternative grunge Seattle scene that I like and really liked at the time is Soundgarden and Alice in Chains. That's about it. And the emo stuff, yeah, I could do without that. How about a show on famous bootlegs? I mean, Alfred, the problem is I don't own a ton of bootlegs, so I'm probably not the right guy to do that. I have a handful, I have some here and there. I got some Zepp bootlegs. I got some ZZ Top bootlegs. I got, Genesis, a couple other things here and there, but I'm not a big bootleg collector. I got so much shit. So would I ever consider doing an Eric Clapton album ranking? I could possibly do that. I think I have, if not all, I have most of his solo albums. Not a huge fan of his solo stuff, to be honest with you, but I probably could do a ranking. Could you do a ranking studio albums of Cradle of Filth? I probably could do that. I think I have all of those, if not most of them. I may not have like the last 1 or 2. Jamie Laszlo, I thought you and this channel were too big to do these live Q&A sessions now. Yeah, well, that's what I said. You know what it was, Jamie? I was bored. I had a little time to kill, and I said, screw it. I haven't done one of these in, a year and a half, something like that. and I probably did it at the right time of day where I didn't get a mix, because I used to do these like on Saturday mornings or in the evening, and then I'd get like 1,000 people all asking questions. This is challenging enough, but yeah, I mean, maybe I could do these every so often again, but it depends. It's hard because I want to get to everybody's questions. But Mark, Clutch would make for a good album ranking. Yeah, I mean, the problem is, like I said before, it's like I have like 3 Clutch albums. They've got like a dozen, so I'd have to go out and buy the whole catalog basically. Greetings from Italy. Are you a fan of Elvis? Am I going to rank any of his albums? I love Elvis, but man, I don't own any of his albums. I have like 1 or 2 greatest hits collections. I'm not going to do an Elvis ranking on this channel. Not really applicable to what we do here, to be honest with you. But Elvis is legendary, man. Great guy's great. The band Ghost opened for Iron Maiden. Your opinion? Next album is going to be heavy. I mean, here's the thing. I think Ghost music is terrific. I think the image thing is getting a little gimmicky, though. I saw them on that tour open for Maiden. They were really good live. I have all their albums. I like their music, right? They're starting to get a little gimmicky for my money. I want to hear like another real serious album from them, but I'm willing to keep listening to them. So, All right. Well, it is 11:02, gang. So I'm going to go right to the end of the last couple questions here. Tyler Dell, Beach Boy ranking. Sorry, don't own any of the albums. I'm not a really huge Beach Boys fan. They're fun for what they are. I got a greatest hits. I'm not that much of a fan, and it's not really applicable for the channel here. Am I picking up the new Styx album from Armando? You know it. I pre-ordered the CD and T-shirt package, so I'm anxiously counting down the days for that to get here. I thought it was going to be here by now, but maybe it's the middle of the month. I don't know. Pete, please do the Tangent and Glass Tiger album rankings. The Tangent's on my list to do. Glass Tiger, I got all those. That's pretty quick. There's like 3, 4 of those. What do you do for your day job? I work for O'Reilly Media. Go look them up. Been there for 19 years. Brian May riffs. Brian May is amazing. Do you like stoner doom bands like Yob and Electric Wizard? Yep. Yeah, Yob is a pretty cool band. Electric Wizard, heavy. Thoughts on Electric Wizard? Just said that. Love them. What's your opinion on Deep Purple? Yeah, very funny. Have I seen Immortal live? I've seen Immortal a couple times. Great band. There's an Immortal ranking coming later this month with John McEntee. Stay tuned for that. Have I heard the band Niacin? Yeah, hell yeah. Organ trio with Billy Sheehan. Love Niacin. Great stuff. Did you pick up anything from the Vinegar Syndrome sale last weekend? I did. I got 3. I'm waiting for them to come in. I got the Beastmaster 4K remaster and 2 others. So they're coming in. I hopefully will have them any day now. Would you ever rank the Halloween franchise films? Possibly. It's on our list to do on the Monsters Den. So one of these days. Todd, this is how you treat your fans. Well, I'm glad you guys enjoy this. So let's see. Last couple here. Would love to come in and discuss Thin Lizzy and shows I was at that probably you and the Hudson Valley Squares were at back in the day. Will you and Chris do another History of Bands show? I don't know. Kind of, the ranking the album shows kind of took the place of the history of shows, because they're pretty in depth. They cover all the albums. We talk about the lineups and the changes and all that kind of stuff. So to me, I find the ranking the album shows a lot more enjoyable to do than the history of shows. But we'll see. Never say never. Heard of the band Smash Into Pieces? I think you already answered that. And no, I have never heard of them. No. Thoughts on the Guess Who? I like the Guess Who. I got a great compilation of theirs, greatest hits type of thing. I don't have all their individual albums though, but of course I love the guys in that band. Love BTO. Good stuff. Am I a Wolf Mother fan? I just mentioned that. Yes, I do like Wolf Mother. Grindcore, not my thing. Get your vaccine. I already got my vaccine. You want Mount Rushmore of rock guitarists of the past 50 years. My Mount Rushmore of guitarists. Hendrix, Van Halen. Well, if you want this is a hard question. If it's my favorites, it's going to be, no, I got to do this the right way. The Mount Rushmore is going to be Van Halen, Yngwie, Malmsteen, Van Halen, Hendrix, Clapton, and Beck. Maybe throw Steve Vai in there. I don't know. You could throw a million people. If it was my Mount Rushmore, it'd be Iommi, it would be Blackmore, it would be Gary Moore, Michael Schenker, and Uli Roth, whatever. But whatever. It's a tough question. Yeah. Am I much of a Nightwish fan? Yeah, I dig my Nightwish. We did a Nightwish show a couple of months back. Check it out. Do I like Bob Seger? I have his 2 early live albums. They're great. I don't really need anything else. Love the early stuff. Paolo, save that for another place, right? We're not going to get into nonsense like that. What you feel about the vaccine, whatever. Let's see. Please do a RPWL Big Train and After Crying album rankings. I don't own the RPWL rankings, so that won't happen. Big Train is in the works, and After Crying I probably could do because I have all of theirs, I'm pretty sure. What else? Do I like Orphan Land? Yeah, I dig Orphan Land. Great band. Oriental Metal. Favorite movie of all time, not a horror film. Raging Bull. I'm a huge Robert De Niro fan. I'm a huge mob movie fan. I just so you guys know, Al Pacino and Robert De Niro are like my actor idols. Love them. Am I familiar with the band Spirit? Yeah, I have all the early catalog, but they have a lot of stuff I don't have. Did I rank Robin Trower's solo albums? I believe I did. Yes, indeedy. What else? Is Dave Stewart the most underrated keyboard player of all time? He's one of them. He's amazing. Let's see. All right, guys. You like my Rushmore? Well, the problem is, Pulsap, is like, to me, Jaws is kind of like a horror action adventure film. So I didn't want to go. I wanted to go completely opposite that. So Raging Bull for me is one of my most beloved films of all time. And that's nothing like, Jaws or Halloween or any of that kind of stuff. Patrick, yes, I am planning a ranking of Barclay James Harvest recordings. I answered that 3 times already today. Holy smokes, you guys. Nick Rosado, check out It's Me, Billy, a Black Christmas Film sequel on YouTube. Yeah, I know you sent me that. I do need to check that out. So I saw your note about that. Pete, what are your thoughts on the Joker, the villain? Love the Joker. He's amazing. Go check, guys. If you haven't checked out Comic Book Geezers, it's my other channel. Please go there and subscribe. We're doing a show. I think it's airing next week, all about the Joker. So you got to check that out. Yes, Atomic Rooster kicks ass. Brian Robertson and Gary Moore. Come on, Gary Moore, but Brian rules too. Radiohead, not a fan. Do you have the George Harrison discography? Nah, I got one. I got the All Things Must Pass, Shall Pass. That's it. How many guitars do I own? I own 6, 7, 8. All right. 3 Les Pauls, a Telecaster, a Stratocaster, a Flying V, a Paul Reed Smith, and an SG. So there you have it. Huey Lewis. Huey Lewis is great. My God, why don't you like The Wall that badly? You can't love everything, right? I like parts of The Wall. As a whole, it's not nearly the best Pink Floyd album for me. I find parts of it very boring. Parts of it are great. It's just I don't see it as this legendary album like everybody else does. That's right, Gary. We all hear things differently. I don't. The Wall doesn't have to be. That's one thing people I think have a hard time grasping nowadays. It's like we all don't need to feel exactly the same about things. If you feel The Wall is the greatest album of all time, that's fantastic. Because I bet you the album I feel is the greatest album of all time is not yours. And that's the way it should be. We all should like things differently. I find it incredible that people just like get upset because someone doesn't like something or someone exactly like they do. And if we say that, all of a sudden I'm a terrible person because I don't think that album is godly like you do. I mean, geez. I mean, it's like we all love what we love. We hate what we hate. That's just the way it is, right? Do I like Aldo Nova? Yes, I do. A show on albums you like with bad production. That might be kind of interesting. Cape Fear with De Niro, amazing performance. Hell yeah. I love the Cape Fear remake. I'm a big Scorsese fan, so I totally dig it. Can you name a couple of Seattle grunge bands you enjoy? Well, I've done it 3 times already in the show. Alice in Chains and Soundgarden. Those are the only bands I like. What else? Can you play some Gilmore on the Stratocaster? I'm not a great guitar player, guys. I can't touch Mr. Gilmore. I'm more of a collector and a guy who's been noodling on the guitar since he was 15 years old. I am no, great musician and nothing like that. It's a hobby for me. It's just it. Favorite Miles Davis album? Jack Johnson, folks. Great. Let's see. Please do Gaspacho, Kaipa, and Epitaph album ranking. I don't have all the Gaspacho albums. Kaipa, I could probably do. Epitaph, I don't think I have all their albums. I have a few of them. Cool. What is the rarest, most valuable item in your music collection? I don't know. I'd have to go through and look. I don't know. I have some really rare out of print CDs from pretty obscure bands that are probably worth something. Did I cry when Karen Carpenter died? No, I didn't. I don't remember what I was doing at the time, but she's very much missed. Gladiator, yeah, I've been playing guitar for 40 years and I'm still crap. Yeah, I mean, that's the way I look at it. It's like, I don't really care. I'm not in the band. I never recorded anything other than little home demos, and I am what I am, and that's what it is. Will I rank Savoy Brown? Well, they've got a million albums, and I'm probably going to do have on my list to do like a top 10 favorite Savoy Brown albums. Have we ranked Voivod? Geez, have we ranked Voivod? Yeah, we did. We ranked Voivod. Yep, absolutely. Italian wife, just curious, sauce or gravy? Well, I'm Italian. My wife is not, but I say sauce. I grew up hearing gravy, and I never liked the gravy thing because to me, I always say sauce. But that's just me. What's my favorite replacement lead singer? I'm not a fan of the band, so I couldn't tell you. Please do a Beggars. Man, you were just rambling out every band known to man. Beggars Opera, Beardfish, and Tiles album ranking. Holy smokes. Do I like System of a Down? Nah, I kind of liked them back in the day. I don't really care much about them. Bryce is here too. Cool, Bryce. What's going on, man? How are you? Looking forward to seeing you on Sunday. Opinion on Roger Waters' solo stuff. Not a fan. Roger's solo stuff doesn't do anything for me. I tolerate him in Pink Floyd, and other than that, not much of a fan. Opinion on Buckethead. Amazing guitar player. He's got a million albums. Where the hell do you start? Everything I've heard from him, I've loved. That's about that. What decade of music is your favorite? The 70s. Easy. From Paul Fun. Don't appreciate the wall and say sauce, weirdo. Yeah, okay, whatever, dude. What is my favorite Yes song? Siberian Khatru. Any hard to get albums you're after? Not at the moment that I'm thinking of. What's your, Jesus Christ, opinions on the Darkness? I've already given them. Only I've heard 2 songs. Okay. Yes, another Catatonia question. Yes, I've answered the Catatonia question like 5 times today. This is one of the reasons why I don't do these shows, because I get asked the same questions over and over and over and over again. Catatonia are okay. I have most of their albums. I'm not a huge fan, though. Thoughts on the new Night Ranger album, like new or the last one? Like, what, 2 years ago? If you talk about that one, I liked it. I like Night Ranger. What do I think about a change of seasons? Love it. I think you're talking about Dream Theater song, right? Love it. Favorite Herbie Hancock fusion album? Oh man, geez. Wandishi is great. Headhunters is great. Flood is great. Man, there's a lot of good ones. He's got a lot of good ones. Will I ever do a show on Gong? The problem is I only have like 3 Gong albums. They've got so many of them, so I'm probably not. What is my favorite Huey Lewis album and song? My favorite album is the Greatest Hits album that I have. I Want a New Drug. I don't know. Neve is here too. Cool. Well, we got everybody on here. Holy smokes. Stronger solo career, Gilmore or Waters? I like the Gilmore solo career better. A lot of people like Waters. That's just me. I'm more of a Gilmore guy. Is Van Halen in my top 30 bands? Probably not. I like a ton of bands. People get upset. How can Aerosmith, AC/DC, and Van Halen not be in your top 30 favorite bands, or even the Beatles? Like, because I love a lot of bands. I love them. They don't have to be in my top 30. If they're in your top 30, that's great. But no, Van Halen probably not in my top 30. I totally dig them, though. Do I like Gojira? Yeah, I do. I don't have the new one, though. But yeah, I like Gojira's old stuff. I've seen him live plenty of times. Harlan Jackson, do you like early Opeth? Yeah, I like all Opeth, actually. Great band. One of my favorite bands of the last 25 years or so. Let's see. Thoughts on Krautrock? I like some. I'm not that well versed in Krautrock. I liked what I've heard, but it's something I probably need to take a deeper dive on. What are your opinion of the 2 Damn Yankees albums? Love them. Wish that band continued on. Wish they continued on. So good. Will I do a show on Goblin? I don't know. I got like 3 Goblin CDs. I don't know how much. I don't know whether that's the whole catalog or not. So I don't know. Do I like Can? No. Can is like Magma for me. I just don't get into them. High on Fire, decent band. Carnival, fun band. Haven't heard enough of them. Joni Mitchell, I like the stuff that she did when she had Pat Metheny and Jocko in the band. Why do you think the Animals album is underrated? Which Animals album? I don't know. Do I ever sleep? I get like 6 hours a night. That's about all I have time for. Would you rank the Universal Monster movies? Nick, we've already done that. We've ranked our top 10, so I can't rank every one of them. There's like a million of them. So check out the Monsters Den playlist, man. We've done a lot of that kind of stuff. Do I like Dead Daisies? Yes, I've already answered that. I love them. Pink Floyd Animals, yes. Yep. Guys, have I talked about this cool? I mean, come on. You got to get this. If you are a fan of the Comic Book Geezers channel, you got to get our new Comic Book Geezers shirt. Go to our merch page. Anyway, guys, I'm going to sign off. Yeah, Megadeth are great, of course. Weirdest genre of music. Weirdest? Fucking rap is weird, man. Rap and hip hop to me is weird. I just can't get into it. I just don't understand it. I don't see the appeal. Do I dislike the AC/DC logo as much as Popoff? No, I don't dislike it at all. Is it one of the greatest of all time? No, but it's a cool logo. I like it. Yes, I do know the black metal band Rotting Christ. Do you have more shirts or albums? I got more albums. Come on, or more CDs, I should say. I do have a few hundred shirts, though. Absolutely. Industrial is not my deal, not my thing. Wild Bill, my buddy. Yes, Wild Bill is cool. I know Wild Bill. Man, almost 40 years. Holy crap. Archie Comics. Yeah, Archie Comics is not my thing. Marvel, mostly Marvel, but I like DC a lot. What do you think about Samson? I never owned any Samson albums. Again, just can't own everything, but what I've heard, I've always liked. Am I a genius on music? Well, thank you. I don't proclaim to be a genius, but maybe a little well-versed. Sure. All right, guys, that's going to be it. So way too many questions. See now we've got over 400 people. Now it's getting a little ridiculous. Hard to keep up on this. I love Heavy Metal Rules. I gave my whole opinion on the Dave Ellefson thing. So when this is done, go back and rewatch. I think we did that in the first 5 minutes. So I did a whole rant on the Dave Ellefson situation. So check that out. Free or James Gang? Oh, what a great question. I love them both, but I might lean towards the James Gang just a little, but I love both of them. Really great. Favorite Ozzy solo record, Diary of a Madman. Thanks, guys, for watching. That's it. I'm going to sign off because I got other things to do. I got to get ready to go to a comic convention, and I got to call Dan Brown from the warehouse. So thanks for watching. Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. Of course, we're here on YouTube all the damn time. Thank you so much for participating in this live stream, all like 400 and something of you. Holy moly, you guys just came out from everywhere. Thanks a lot. From the bottom of my heart, it's all about you guys. I mean, if it wasn't for all of your views on this channel, I mean, we wouldn't be where we are. So thanks for your interest and love for all we do here, from myself and all the talent on Sea of Tranquility. Thanks for watching. And don't forget, tune in this Sunday. If you're a Merciful Fate fan, Bryce, I know he's here. He, myself, and Rich Catino will be ranking the albums of Merciful Fate. So stay tuned for that on Sunday. And you might even get a bonus video tomorrow because Chris Allo and Rich Catino and I will be together in person tomorrow. So maybe we'll tape a little video for you guys tomorrow. We'll post that. Or maybe we'll do a quick little something. I don't know. We'll see. So anyway, and Neve, we need to talk because we got to get you back on the show as well. So follow up with me on email, and we'll figure something out. And I am Pete Pardo. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you real soon. Have a good weekend, and we'll see you when we see you. Take care. Bye-bye.